past the monumentally dumb mark. Only a blunder of staggering proportions would remove the surplus, and the nature of this mind-numbing act of idiocy was a matter of considerable media speculation. "It says here," he said, getting into full rant mode by adjusting his glasses and tapping at the newspaper with his index finger, "that even the government is having to admit that the stupidity surplus is a far, far bigger problem than they had first imagined." I held the striped dodo cozy I was knitting for Pickwick against her pink and blotchy body to check the size, and she puffed herself up to look more alluring, but to no avail. She then made an indignant plocking noise, which was the only sound she ever uttered. "Do you think I should knit her a party one as well? You know, black, off the shoulder, with sparkly bits in it." "But," Landon went on in a lather of outrage, "the Prime Minister has poured scorn on Traffic Cone's suggestion to offload our unwanted stupidity to third world nations, who would be only too happy to have it in exchange for several sacks of cash and a Mercedes or two." "He's right," I replied with a sigh. "Idiocy offsets are bullshit. Stupidity is our own problem and has to be dealt with on an individual stupidity footprint basis, and landfill certainly doesn't work." I was thinking of the debacle in Cornwall, where 20,000 tons of half-wittedness was buried in the 60s, only to percolate to the surface 2 decades later, when the residents started to do inexplicably dumb things, such as using an electric mixer in the bath and parting their hair in the centre. "What if," Landon continued thoughtfully, "the 30 million or so inhabitants of the British archipelago were to all simultaneously fall for one of those email, tell-us-all-your-bank details, phishing scams, or, I don't know, fall down a manhole or something?" "They tried the mass walking into lamppost experiment in France to see if they could alleviate la dette idiote," I pointed out, "but the seriousness under which the plan was undertaken made it de facto sensible, and all that was damaged was the proud Gallic forehead." Landon took a sip of coffee, unfolded the paper, and scanned the rest of the front page, before remarking absently, "I took up your idea and sent my publisher a few outlines for self-help books last week." "Who do they think you should be helping?" "Well, me. And them, I suppose. Isn't that how it's meant to work? It looks really easy. How about this for a title? Men are from Earth, women are from Earth, just deal with it." He looked at me and smiled, and I smiled back. I didn't love him just because he had a nice knee, was tall, and made me laugh, but because we were 2 parts of one, and neither of us could imagine life without the other. I wish I had a better way to describe it, but I'm not a poet. Privately, he was a husband and father to our 3 mostly wonderful kids, but professionally, he was a writer. Unfortunately, despite winning the 1988 Armitage Shanks Fiction Award for Bad Sofa, a string of flops had left the relationship with his publisher a bit strained. So strained, in fact, that he was reduced to penning point-of-sale non-fiction classics such as The Little Book of Cute Pets That You Really Like to Hug and The Darndest Things Kids Say. When he wasn't working on these, he was looking after our children and attempting to rekindle his career with a seriously good blockbuster, his magnum opus. It wasn't easy, but it was what he loved, and I loved him, so we lived off my salary, which was about the size of Pickwick's brain. Not that big, and unlikely to become so. "This is for you," said Landon, pushing a small parcel wrapped in pink paper across the table. "Sweetheart," I said, really annoyed and really pleased all at the same time, "I don't do birthdays." "I know," he said, without looking up. "So you'll just have to humour me." I unwrapped the package to find a small silver locket and chain. I'm not a jewellery person, but I am a Landon person, so held my hair out of the way while he fastened the clasp, then thanked him and gave him a kiss, which he returned. And then, since he knew all about my abhorrence of